There are moments in life that don't seem important while they're happening. Just small, passing gestures, a glance, a word, a touch. But sometimes, a single moment, a single hug, can save a life. This is the story of Ion. Ion had always felt invisible. He was the quiet child in class, the one who never raised his hand, who never brought lunch from home, and who always wore the same faded shirt. His silence wasn't shyness, it was survival. At home, silence kept him safe. His father was a man with storms in his eyes, not the kind that brought rain, but the kind that destroyed everything they touched. His mother, once full of songs and sunshine, had slowly become a shadow of herself. Always tired, always afraid, always apologizing. Every night, Ion curled up in a corner of the room, pretending to sleep while the chaos unfolded outside his door. He learned not to cry. He learned not to hope. He learned not to feel. Because feeling meant breaking. And breaking meant no one would be there to pick up the pieces. At school, Ion kept to himself. He watched other kids laugh, fight, play, fall, get up and laugh again. He wondered what it must be like to be seen, to be cared for, to be hugged. He didn't remember the last time someone had held him. One winter morning, he came to school with bruises hidden under his sleeves and a heart heavy enough to drown him. The world felt darker that day, quieter, colder. It was like even the sun was tired of shining on him. That day, his class had a substitute teacher, Miss Lena. She was warm. Not the kind of warm that's loud or dramatic, but the kind that feels like a soft blanket after a storm. She noticed things. She noticed how Ion flinched when someone raised their hand near him. She noticed how he didn't eat during lunch, how his eyes scanned the room like he was always ready to run. After class, as the other students rushed out, Lena gently called out, "Ion, can you stay back for a moment?" He froze. His body tensed. He thought he had done something wrong, but her voice wasn't angry. It was kind. He nodded slowly. She sat beside him, not behind a desk, not above him, just beside him. "You don't talk much, do you?" she asked gently. He shook his head. "That's okay," she smiled. "But sometimes silence speaks louder than words." His eyes filled with tears before he could stop them. No one had ever said that to him before. No one had ever seen his silence. He turned away, ashamed, wiped his tears quickly. "I'm sorry," he whispered. Lena leaned forward. "Don't ever be sorry for feeling. It means your heart is still alive." He looked at her, confused and vulnerable. His lips trembled. And then she did something unexpected. She opened her arms. "Would it be okay if I gave you a hug?" Ion hesitated. Hugs were dangerous. Hugs could mean traps, pain, mockery, or worse, hope. But something in her eyes was different, safe, soft, true. He nodded barely. And in that moment, for the first time in years, someone held him. Not out of pity, not out of duty, but out of love. It wasn't just arms wrapping around a child, it was healing. It was warmth melting years of frost. It was every "I love you" he never heard, every "I'm here for you" he never received, every "you matter" he never believed. He sobbed in her arms, quietly at first, then louder, then uncontrollably. And she didn't stop him. She didn't shush him. She just held him. Minutes passed, maybe hours, but in his world, time stood still. That hug was not just comfort, it was CPR for his soul. He went home that day different, still bruised, still afraid, But now, with one memory that didn't hurt, one proof that love existed, that he existed. Years passed. Ion grew up. He studied hard, driven by one thought. If someone could save me with just one hug, maybe I can do the same for someone else. He became a counselor, not the kind that wore suits and sat behind desks, but the kind who remembered how cold the floor felt when you had no bed. The kind who knew how it felt to want to disappear. The kind who remembered a warm hug on a cold day. One afternoon, at a community mental health clinic, a new volunteer walked in. She was older now, wrinkles where smiles used to live, eyes tired but kind. It was Miss Lena. She didn't recognize him at first, but he knew. His heart raced, his throat tightened. And when she finally looked at his name tag and met his eyes, her breath caught. "Ihan?" she whispered. He nodded. Tears filled her eyes. You remember me?" He smiled. "I never forgot. That hug, it saved my life." She covered her mouth, overwhelmed. He continued, voice shaking. "I didn't get many hugs, but that one, it stayed with me. It gave me the strength to survive. And now, every child I help, every life I try to touch, it all began with that hug." She wept. And this time, it was him who opened his arms. And they hugged again. Two souls, one memory, one moment. Proof that kindness doesn't end where it's given. It echoes, it multiplies, it saves. This story teaches us, sometimes you won't know the power of your kindness. Sometimes you won't get to see the ripple you created. But never underestimate what one hug, one smile, one act of love can do. Because sometimes that one act saves a life. Just like it did for Ion.
If this story touched your heart, share it with someone you love. Maybe it'll help them. And if you believe stories like these deserve to be heard, please like, comment, and subscribe to Life Lessons Library. Your one click keeps these stories alive.